Hey, everybody, and welcome to another episode of the Divorced Woman's Guide podcast. How are you guys doing today? I'm really excited to be here with you guys because, just about a week and a half ago, I came back from a bucket list trip to Egypt, and it was one of the most spectacular gifts I have given myself during a time of year where many of us feel extremely alone. Feeling alone when you're going through divorce is something that is very common. And during the holidays, especially this time of year, it is something that we feel is highlighted, and it's something that pretty much stares us right in the face. And so I wanted to just share with you guys some of what came up for me on my trip to Egypt and what that has to do with feeling lonely over the holidays. Now, I went to Egypt with a group, with my mastermind coaching group. And I did travel by myself, but there were a lot of feelings around me going on this trip and doing so by myself. It brought up a lot of feelings around how I used to feel a couple of years ago when I was newly divorced. I hated even saying that word. And I always wondered to myself, like, who am I ever going to travel with? All my friends are married. You know, my parents don't really, they kind of stay where they like to go. And all of my friends had husbands and children, and they weren't able to leave on a whim when they didn't have custody of their kids the same way that I did. And so I remember, because travel is something that is a huge passion of mine, I remember thinking to myself, well, how am I ever going to go away? Who am I going to go away with? And when I was in Egypt, what kept coming up for me while I was there was really how fortunate we actually are to travel by ourselves and to actually just have experiences by ourselves. So let me frame this for you guys for a second. So when we're going through a divorce, or when we're newly separated, or, even on the other side, we dread the thought of being by ourselves. I talked to you guys a little bit about when I was in Sedona, I went by myself. And I used to be so afraid to do that because I thought that people would stare at me. I thought people would think I was weird, that here I am traveling and doing all these things by myself. But what really actually came up for me in Egypt was almost like this calm during what is normally a crazy, chaotic time of year. And to be able to do something by yourself where you're not trying to wrangle children, you're not having to pack for anybody else, you're not asking somebody else like, oh, what should we grab to eat at the airport? Or, do you need water? Who has water? Who has to go to the bathroom? You're just focused on yourself. And even just sitting on an airplane, or even driving in a car, you guys, you don't have to get on an airplane to go somewhere. Feeling alone is a choice, and that's one perspective. And the other perspective of traveling solo is that you're in charge. You get to decide when you leave for the airport, what it is that you want to eat when you get to the airport, or the destination you're going. You can decide, do I want to go to happy hour today? Do I want to go do this? You can make changes at the last minute. And I find that during this time of year, we hold on to, for some reason, we just hold on to this, well, I'm by myself. And the reason that we hold on to that is because we're so used to how life used to be. And we just see like the bright, shiny diamonds, right? Instead of thinking back to, well, I don't know about you guys, but holidays were really freaking stressful when I was married. It was like, which family are we going to on which day? Is it day? Is it night? My family lived up north, so we would have to travel. So are we traveling this year? Are we staying here? Am I asking my parents to come down? Are we going up north? Are we going to a destination this year? And you guys, like, think about holidays when you were married. Yes, I understand that we love family tradition. We love being around people. You can still create that for yourself. You still have the power to do that. Think about how you get to take all of the good of the holidays, all of the good stuff, and create that for yourself this year with and without your ex and with and without your kids. And when I was going to Egypt, one of the big themes that I kept feeling while I was there was just how special it was for me to get to have this experience for myself, that I got to roam around these places that we went to and to take as much time as I wanted to really sit with, we went to the Egyptian Museum. So I got to sit, I'm obsessed with King Tut, by the way. I got to sit and just be in his tomb and just kind of stare and look and think about details. Or, when we went to the Egyptian Museum, if there was a particular hieroglyphic or a piece of art that struck me, I could go up to it instead of having to be like, hey, I'm over here. Hey, I'm going to go over here. I just did and went whatever it is that I wanted. And I invite you guys to really, instead of thinking about what used to be, think about what it is about what used to be. Right? The connection and the love. And how can you make that possible for yourself now? Instead of thinking about, oh, I'm just a single person now, you get to think about, okay, what do I get to create this year? What do I get to do? I created Egypt for myself. I made it happen. I didn't know how. I just knew that it was something that I wanted to do. And I didn't let anybody tell me otherwise. Even when my ex-husband was like, wait, you're traveling? And for those of you who know me personally, it was also my son's bar mitzvah the week after I got back, actually 5 days after I got back. And everyone was like, oh my God, Wendy, you're so crazy. Why are you doing this? And I'm like, because I get to do this. I get to have this experience. It is important for me to do this trip by myself. I didn't want to do this trip any other way. The point of the trip was for me to do this by myself and to receive the gratitude from Egypt, to receive what Egypt gifted me with. And you guys are going to be getting some more episodes from me that are going to relate back to what I learned in Egypt, what it is that I'm hearing or what I heard when I was there in terms of messages that were coming through, and really what my experience was, because I think it is so incredibly important for each and every one of you guys to hear it. And I can't wait to share it with you guys in another solo episode that will be coming out. So I hope you guys got something from this week's episode. I really invite you guys to join into my Facebook group, The Divorce Rehab. Don't be alone. Join my email list. You can go to my website, wendysterling.net, to get on that email list. And for you guys to really just not choose alone. Don't choose to be lonely this time of year. You don't have to choose that if it's not something that you want. So I look forward to hearing your feedback. Let me know what you got from this week's episode, because you know that I'm always trying to guide you guys on your path to healing and recovery. And I try to do that with nuggets of information that I drop in every single episode of my podcast. So I hope that you guys enjoyed this week's. Sending you all so much love, light, and joy as always. Mwah. Bye, everybody.